Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Eric sobs over Jude goodbye, Everett missing as Marlena reveals Did Days of Our Lives, DOOL, spoilers recap for Friday, May 24th, reveals that Chanel DiMera, Raven Bowens, told Johnny DiMera, Carson Boatman, that she was done with all the constant worrying and just wanted to concentrate on the excitement of her gestation. With that in mind, Chanel allowed they should start telling people and suggested they should roar this baby news from the rooftops. Johnny was more reluctant because of the radiation exposure pitfalls and the loss Nicole DiMera, Ariane Zucker, had faced. Still, Chanel allowed. Perhaps their happiness could be good for Nicole. Since Chanel would start showing soon anyway, she induced Johnny to get on board with offering gestation updates. At the DiMera manse on Friday's day's occasion, EJ DiMera, Dan Feuerriegel, snapped at Rita, Maggie Carney, over the phone and left Nicole thwarted over what had him so wound up. Although EJ kept checking his watch, he eventually gave Nicole a vague explanation about awaiting a delivery. At home on Friday's DOOL show, Eric Brady, Greg Vaughn, cried as Sloane Peterson Brady, Jessica Surfety, explained how the first relinquishment fell through and how she decided to keep Jude Brady, Oliver McClarty, when Dimitri von Luscher, Peter Port, brought him over. Eric set up out that Leo Stark, Greg Ricart, knew the verity, so Sloane's former jest started to make further sense. When Eric brought up the DNA tests, Sloane claimed they were tampered with. Although Sloane assured Eric that she only prevaricated because she loved him and didn't want to lose him, he cried that she was unable of love. Eric started packing up Jude's stuff and refused to let Sloane say goodbye. Once Eric knelt down next to Jude's stroller, he blubbed over how much he'd miss him and suggested it was time to meet his real parents. After Eric advised Sloane not to leave, he said he'd be back and that she'd pay for what she'd done. As Sloane wept on the lounge and snuggled Jude's stuffed beast, Eric headed for the DiMera manse. Meanwhile, Chanel and Johnny told Nicole about the gestation, so she snappily realized EJ formerly knew grounded on his response. Nicole bothered, they all allowed. She couldn't handle it, but Johnny refocused out that he only told EJ in confidence. Once EJ pulled Johnny away for a father-son moment, he made it clear that he still allowed. It was a terrible mistake to keep the baby. Johnny refused to overrule his woman and stood by Chanel's excitement. Back with Nicole on Friday's day's occasion, she gave Chanel a book for the baby since she held onto it after her own shower. After Nicole got emotional, she apologized for falling piecemeal and wound up crying in EJ's arms as he formally again looked at his watch. Upstairs, Johnny prevaricated when Chanel quizzed him about what EJ said during their private talk. Chanel was pleased when Johnny said EJ just wanted them to know he'd take care of all the specialist bills. Since Chanel's forthcoming baby bump would ultimately be a memorial of everything Nicole had lost, Chanel suggested to Johnny that perhaps they should move out. Coming on Friday's day's occasion, Eric arrived at the DiMera manse door with Jude in his arms, so EJ answered it before Nicole walked over. Once Eric said this was about Jude, he claimed Nicole and EJ's baby didn't die after all. Nicole teared up as she took Jude in her arms and marveled over her surprise reunion with her son. EJ stood there looking satisfied with his plan paying off, but Eric looked absolutely devastated. At the Salem PD, Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, told Jada Hunter, Elia Cantu, and Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gehring, that Everett Lynch aka Robert Bobby Stein, Blake Barris, likely had dissociative identity complaint, so Everett and Bobby both lived in his mind. Jada reeled over all the times she criticized Everett for his bad jest when he was apprehensive of what Bobby had done. Marlena also talked about how nonage trauma generally brought it on, so she suspected what happened with Eric at small bar touched off commodity from Everett's history. At The Spectator, Stephanie Johnson, Abigail Klein, kept calling Everett's number and getting his voicemail. Jada reached out next and summoned Stephanie to the police station. Once Stephanie arrived, Marlena explained her reservations and felt that Stephanie stood the stylish chance of persuading Everett to suffer violent prolonged psychotherapy. Stephanie agreed to talk to Everett and wanted to help, but Rafe refocused out that they had to find him first. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Stephanie and Jada will team up on trying to get through to Everett and Bobby soon, so stick with us for further prognostications on their plan. Nicole rages over Sloane, Harris returns and tracks Clyde to Montana. Days of Our Lives, DOOL, spoilers for Monday, May 27th, reveal that Harris Michaels, Steve Burton, will return from his trip and do some strategizing with Ava Vitale, Tamara Braun, so they work on figuring out exactly where Clyde Weston, James Red, is hiding out. The suggestions will ultimately point to Montana, but Ava and Harris will hope to nail down a specific area soon enough. Day spoilers say Lucas Horton, Brian DiTillo, will come involved in their plan laterally during the week of May 27th to 31st, so Ava and Harris will have some backup. Over with Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gehring, he pass along clones of Clyde's Black Book to John Black, Drake Hodgson, and Steve Johnson, Stephen Nichols. Day spoilers say that gives Steve and John a chance to pound over any decrypted dispatches, and their ISA connections could prove relatively helpful on that. In the meantime, let's talk about Xander Cook, Paul Telfer, and Sarah Horton's, Lindsay Godfrey, recent engagement. Maggie Kyriakis, Suzanne Rogers, will be thrilled once Sarah and Xander spread their big news, so look for her to get updates and express her blessing. At the DiMera Manse, Nicole DiMera, Ariane Zucker, will reel over the advertisement Eric Brady, Greg Vaughn, just made. Eric showed up, handed Jude Brady, Oliver McClarty, over and claimed he was Nicole's son, so now she's both overjoyed and completely confused. DOL suckers can anticipate Eric to clear effects up on Monday's day's occasion, so he partake the story Sloane Peterson, Brady, Jessica Sarity, just told him. Eric will admit Sloane stole Jude and prevaricated from day one, so Nicole will cloud over her deception and express relief to have her son back in her arms. Of course, Eric and Nicole suppose EJ DiMera, Dan Feuereagle, is the father, so he happily embrace that part and pretend he's innocent in all this. Our prognostications point to EJ's downfall passing sooner or laterally, but he pretend to be a doting daddy for now. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Sloane will bolt from the apartment before Eric gets back, but she run into some trouble with her evaporating sweats ahead long. Sloane's half Verity, Nicole gets baby back, Chanel keeps baby, Everett split. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, May 24th indicate that Sloane Peterson, Jessica Surfety, tells Eric Brady, Greg Vaughn, half the Verity about Jude Brady, Oliver McClarty, just before EJ DiMera, Dan Feuereagle, comes to take him down. Nicole Walker, Ariane Zucker, is about to get her baby back. Chanel Dupree, Raven Bowens, is determined to keep her child. Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, confirms Everett Lynch, Blake Barris, resolve personality.